This is the Play Your Position podcast, where we huddle up, call the plays, and inspire you to run your ball into the end zone. Are you ready to score more game-winning touchdowns in your life, business, and career? Then listen up, because it's game time, baby. Now, here's your host, Mary Lou Kaiser.
Hey everyone, Mary Lou Kaiser here. Welcome to another episode and a new season here at the Play Your Position podcast. I am recording this on September 9th, 2022, and it's been a minute since you've heard from me, since I've sat behind the mic, and it's really great to be back. I'm super excited about the fall lineup. I've got some awesome conversations coming your way starting next week. And I wanted to kick off the new season of Play Your Position with something that I think a lot of us think about. I know I certainly do, and it definitely makes the rounds on social media and the internet in general. What I'm talking about is finding your purpose, living your purpose. These days, there's a ton of talk about finding your purpose and then living it all over the internet. Memes galore, Pinterest pages, whole blogs, you name it, TED Talks. It's a big topic. And for many, finding your purpose is the Holy Grail of being human. It's a terrific sentiment, one I support. It's certainly one that I have talked about here on the Play Your Position podcast with many, many guests. And it's definitely tied into the call to leadership and answering that call. People like Simon Sinek have made a fortune from explaining why we all must start with why. The challenge is, of course, life doesn't always align in a perfect little sequence of bullet points leading us blissfully toward our why. When it comes to finding your purpose and doing what you're here to do, discovering what that is will not necessarily be simple or immediately apparent. And the verb doing may very well be a big part of the problem for many people. And I'll explore the difference in the dynamics between a verb like being and doing in a future episode. But for now, let's look at the elusive nature of finding your purpose and why so many people struggle with this. Well, first of all, finding your purpose isn't a given, and you may not yet know what it is you're here to do. Secondly, you may have thought you found your purpose only to discover a few yards into it that, no, not really, that wasn't it. And a third possibility is you found your purpose, you lived it for a spell, you loved it very much, then veered away from it for any of a million different reasons. This happened to me, and in a weird way, it's one of the best things that could have happened to me, because what I'm doing now is far more aligned with who I am at my core than what I was doing back then, when I know back then for 100% sure that I was living my purpose at the time. Things like children, marriage, divorce, downsizing, upleveling, change of heart, illness, natural disasters, death, that concert you went to at the last minute one cold autumn night. Any and all of these life events can cause bumps along the road and take you away from what you truly desire to do. And like a lot of people, you may still be searching for that one wild and precious thing you're meant to do during your time on earth. This is a shout out to Mary Oliver's brilliant poem, The Summer Day. You may be familiar with it because the line about what are you going to do with your one wild and precious life has become an internet meme, as so many of these beautiful lines do. Now, of course, stories exist of people who claim they knew from childhood why they are here and have pursued that one thing only. They are often interviewed on TV after winning championships, buoyed by a culture that worships great achievements as examples of anything is possible when you know what you want and why. They'll say things like, just look at so and so. They found their purpose, so can you, making it seem like it's just this simple exercise. You can sit down one day, take an hour with a legal pad and a pen, and boom, there it is. But a more common story goes something like this. We experiment, we fail, we refine, we search again, experiment, reflect, switch, experiment, wonder if anything we do matters. And maybe it's not so much about what we do, but about enjoying the smorgasbord of experiences life has to offer and getting it right once in a while. I mean, we could consider that. Now, not finding your purpose can feel weird, especially when it feels like you're the only one who hasn't found their purpose. You look around and it seems like everyone else has their act together. Everyone else is fully living their purpose and is satisfied to the hilt with everything in their life, while you're stumbling around in the wilderness without a map, without a compass, without a flashlight. You don't even have a knife so you can cut things down and make shelter, kill something to eat. I mean, you're wondering, what the fuck is wrong with you? Well, don't beat yourself up if this scenario resonates, or if life events, like the ones I just listed, have caused you to be unmoored, or maybe you just don't have the bandwidth right now to think about what you're here to do, because simply getting through the next hour is all you can manage. Trust me, your purpose is here. You will find it eventually, because purpose has a funny way of finding you, and it probably won't look anything like you thought it would, or maybe it will be exactly what you imagined. There's no one size fits all. There's no blueprint for here's how you find your purpose, right? Step 1, step 2. Come on. The other thing too is maybe, just maybe, simply being and stumbling around in the wilderness is an essential part of your life's purpose. You also might not be in any hurry to move on from the woods. There is that consideration. This has been my experience. Often when you've stopped looking as hard as you've been looking, there it will suddenly be. You will see it and you will feel like you are finally home. Now, it could be driven by dissatisfaction, because dissatisfaction with life is often the gateway to creating something better. And creating something better almost always co-stars your purpose. And sometimes it just happens. It just happens. And you look back and go, man, it was the craziest situation. And you'll start connecting the dots, and you'll realize that there was a method to the madness, that the wilderness actually served a purpose, a purpose towards your purpose, right? Now, if you are someone who is living your purpose right now, that is so awesome. Keep showing up to it, and yourself and the people that you serve. However, if you're wandering and feeling untethered and thinking, oh my God, is this ever going to end? My recommendation is try to enjoy being in the wilderness and all that it offers, even though it feels unsettling. Believe me, I've been there. I know that push and pull, that tug you feel of, I've got to figure this out. I've got to figure this out. I look back and I say, wow, I probably spent too much energy thinking about trying to figure it out than just being and allowing it to come to me. And that is only something that I've gained through hard knocks, through making mistakes, through living my life. And I can tell you too, there will be parts of that wilderness you'll miss once you're doing what you know with every fiber of your being you're meant to do. And the good news is, of course, should things change again, and odds are they will, you'll veer off, something will happen. Guess what? Another version of your purpose will be there waiting for you when you're ready. So that is what I'm thinking about today as I gear up for this next amazing season of Play Your Position. Being a podcaster, being a writer, working with people one-on-one and in groups, teaching, all part of my purpose. And it does feel amazing when you're living it. But you know what? I've also come to appreciate those times when I was unmoored, when I didn't have something to hold on to. They served me in really powerful ways. And so if you are in that space right now of not knowing, I encourage you to find some kind of peace in the unsettling. You may be grieving. You may just feel hopeless. You may wonder what is next for you. And again, I've been there. I know what that's like. And your purpose is in there somewhere. It is in there somewhere. And it's waiting for you. And it will find you. It will find you. This is Mary Lou Kaiser. Thanks so much for listening to another episode of the Play Your Position podcast. Remember, it is always a great day to get out there and play your position. We'll see you next time.
Here at the Play Your Position podcast, we believe that the road to self-mastery and a life well lived starts with answering the call to leadership. That's when the fun really begins. Send this episode to any friends who might need to hear the inspiration and ideas you heard today. And feel free to rate and review us on your favorite podcast platform.